Hello, Hey Boomer listeners. My name is Wendy Green, and I am your host for Hey Boomer. And Hey Boomer is a show for people who have retired or who will soon retire, and they're asking the question, what's next? We explore many topics, including having a purpose and finding ways to make a difference, things that we will talk about today. On Hey Boomer, the goal is to have our listeners leave inspired that this next chapter of life can be their best chapter of life. And I have no doubt that you will leave inspired today. My guest today is Barry Shore, known as the Ambassador of Joy. Barry Shore is a mental health activist, philanthropist, multi-patent holding entrepreneur, speaker, author, podcaster, and former quadriplegic who is now, believe this or not, swimming around the world. And you'll hear about that. After a rare disease paralyzed Barry from the neck down, he created the Joy of Living Institute, a platform that teaches people to live in joy no matter the situation. He created the Keep Smiling movement that has reached multiple celebrities and distributed millions of Keep Smiling cards worldwide, which you saw on some of the posts for the show. And Change Bowl, which is a philanthropic platform featured in Oprah's magazine. Barry's podcast, The Joy of Living, is heard globally by hundreds of thousands and has over 3 million downloads. Hey Boomer will be there one day. And his latest book, The Joy of Living, How to Slay Stress and Be Happy, is available on Amazon and Apple Books, but we're going to hear about a special offer also later in this show. But before we get to Barry's inspiring story, I want to share a couple of inspiring never too old stories with you. Colonel Harlan Sanders is my first story. You all recognize that name, right? He was an American businessman best known for founding the fast food chicken restaurant chain Kentucky Fried Chicken. His name and image are still symbols of the company. The title Colonel, though, is an honorific title, the highest awarded by the Commonwealth of Kentucky. It's not a military title. Sanders held many jobs in his early life, such as steam engine stoker, insurance salesman, and filling station operator. And he began selling fried chicken from his roadside restaurant in North Corbin, Kentucky during the Great Depression. During that time, Sanders developed his secret recipe and his patented method of cooking chicken in a pressure fryer. And he recognized the potential of the restaurant franchising concept, and his first KFC franchise opened in Salt Lake, Utah in 1952. In 1964, after it was just growing so much and he just felt like he couldn't keep up with it, so he sold it. And then he wasn't totally happy with what the new owners did with it. But so that was Colonel Sanders, who started his first restaurant at about 63 years old. Barbara Hillary, she became the first Black woman on record to reach both the North and South Poles. She was born in New York City in 1931 and earned a bachelor's and master's degree in gerontology from the New School University in New York. After retiring from a career in nursing, Barbara fell in love with the beauty of the North while photographing polar bears in Manitoba, Canada. When she learned that no Black woman had reached the North Pole, she sought to become the first. And at the age of 75, after raising over $25,000 to fund her expedition, she became not only the first Black woman to reach the North Pole, but also the oldest person. And 4 years later, at 79 years old, she became the first African-American woman on record to stand on the South Pole. Barbara Hillary passed away in 2019 at the age of 88. So these stories remind us that you are never too old to start a new business or take an expedition. It is all about your mindset. And with that, I'm going to bring on our guest, Barry Shore. Hello, Barry.
Good day, beautiful, bountiful, beloved, immortal beings, and good-looking people, and the wonderful Wendy. How can I make a categorical statement that all the thousands, tens of thousands, and through extension will be hundreds of thousands of people that are listening and watching are all good-looking? Because by definition, if they tuned into, hey, boomer, they're always looking for and finding the good. That's a good-looking person, looking for and finding the good. And that's one of the benefits of being of age, shall we say. We've
Mm.
learned to get past the tingle stage of life, looking at each other and say, I'm a good looking person because I'm always looking for the good in life and finding it. And that's what you do, Wendy. And I'm just so honored and happy to be here and love those never too old stories because they're all true.
Aren't they?
No, they're true.
Yes, they are true, Barry. And you have had quite an interesting journey, starting with your early life. So before we get to like where you are now, can you briefly take us through that, the first part before you woke up and found out that you were paralyzed?
First of all, I'd love to. Because reminiscing is a wonderful thing. The critical part of reminiscing, by the way, is to use it as a springboard to recognize where we are now and not to be living in those times, to use them as those kinds of stories to share with others and ourselves that we have gained something with our chronological ages. So we are bordering on wisdom,
Mhm.
insight. Those are important ideas. Let's just go back in time to, let's say, 60 plus years ago. And I was raised in a place called Brookline, Massachusetts, actually born in Dorchester. So I'm going to use the
Rochester.
Boston accent. Yes, I can still say Star Market and park my car in Harvard Yard. And I'm not making it up because I did speak that way for many years. I was fortunate enough to leave the Boston area in Brookline at the age of 25 and such. And even before that, I had already traveled halfway around the world from the ages of 18 to 22. But when I was growing up, we had something called snowstorms. Oh, I
Ah,
think they still
yes.
have them there in Brookline. Yeah, snowstorms. And in those days, imagine this, there was no internet, there was no Uber. The only way you could find out when the snow was falling was going to be over, let's say, 3 inches, 6 inches, 12 inches or more. Is school off today? And you listen to the radio, you listen to a different school. Well, in Wellesley, in this place, in Brookline High, Brookline John D. Runkle, yeah, no school. Oh,
Yay.
wow. Now, no school day meant for me, not just sitting around playing video games because they didn't exist, or
No.
just sitting and reading and go back to sleep. It was, wow, what an opportunity. Guess what I can do? I can go outside, all bundled up, long underwear, boots, gloves, the whole bit, especially earmuffs. Ooh, earmuffs. And go shoveling snow to make money because I enjoyed it to enhance my meager, what I called meager allowance.
Mm.
I had things I wanted to do, right? And
Right.
the ability to now interact at the ages of what, 10, 11, 12 with my neighbors. And after, of course, we shoveled my stairs and driveway for free. No, I did it as part of the allowance. And to now talk to other people and do three things. Number one, work. Number two, negotiate. And
Mm.
number three, enjoy the process of learning how to interact people and finding what I learned was later, bringing value. So I'll just
Mhm.
give you very quickly. So I would go and knock on doors, and of course, the householder I wanted $10 for the driveway and the stairs, and they wanted to pay 5, and then we agreed on a price, usually $7, $8. Okay, fine. And I could do 5 or 6 before I get really tired because shoveling
Right.
snow isn't that easy. But I
Heavy.
could make $40, $50. Amazing. By the way, $40, $50 then, 60 years ago, a lot of money today. But
Yes.
here's what gets really delightful. I had a number of friends, especially 3 or 4 that I was really close with, and they didn't like knocking on doors. You hear this, Wendy? They
I
didn't
hear
like
it.
that whole thing. So I said, okay, here's what we're going to do. I'll knock on the door. I'll get the gig. I didn't call it a gig. I'll get the job. It was a gig economy. And let's say I made 8, I'll give you 6, and go shovel. They say, hey, that's cool. So I did that, and then I was actually empowered more. I was able to get the $10 because I could say no to the householder because I did many other places to do it. And then they said, come
Yep.
back. Okay, $10. So I'd get 8. I mean, I get 10, right? 8 would
Right.
go to my friend, $2 for me, but I had 4 kids shoveling.
Right.
So I would make an extra $40, $50 plus I would shovel some. I sometimes make one, it didn't happen every week, but when the snowstorm came, I can make almost $100.
You
And
were
it,
an entrepreneur at 10 years
woo,
old.
yes. Well, that was the seeds of it. And now it gets really fun. Again, everybody's listening here is in the United States of America, but this could go worldwide. So I grew up in Brookline, which is right adjacent to Boston, and not many, just a couple miles from my home, was Fenway Park. Fenway Park, yeah, everybody knows what Fenway, the Boston Red Sox, hello. So imagine the following. At the ages of 12, 13, and 14, I was selling scorecards, newspaper scorecards, outside of Fenway Park. And first of all, made money doing it and got to see games because in those days the Red Sox weren't where they are today, and the stadiums were half full. So because
Right.
they knew me and I was gregarious, all the guards knew me and such. Come on in, okay? You go in after the first inning, and just take a seat anywhere, not just the bleachers. Sometimes right down the dugout area, sometimes skybox. But the point was, I was able to sell my scorecards, make in a game. I could make somewhere between $10 and $12 for an hour and a half of just selling. And that was great. But here's what gets really fun. I mean, this is the beginnings of my career in providing value for life for people. Because that's the essence of business, right?
Right.
By the way, business, by the way, this is, and you talked about Colonel Sanders and such. Business is spelled Business, right?
Right.
Notice the word. The U comes before the I.
Mm.
Ooh. When you
Ooh.
think of the other first, what are you providing? So I'm standing at the corner at Vaness, outside of the gate in Fenway Park, selling my scorecards, here's scorecards here. Good voice, out there, not afraid. And there was a fellow, maybe 10 yards away, sitting on an overturned milk crate. And he had this big table in front of him, about 6 foot long and 4 feet wide, filled with roasted peanuts in little bags. And he was a wizened old black man. Now, wizened in this case, doesn't mean just old, it means wise.
Wise.
His name was Elijah. He
Oh.
called me over and said, hey, kid, come here. I said, go over and said, yes, sir. Because that's how I was raised, right? He said, let me hear what you're doing. Say, scorecards, get your scorecards. Okay, that's good. But why? How much are they in the ballpark? How much are you selling them for? I sell them for 8 cents. How much in the ballpark? 15. Well, hello. Watch what I do. Ready? Peanuts a dime, 3 for a quarter, 15 in the ballpark. Peanuts a dime, 3 for a quarter, 15 in the ballpark. So here's what I like you to do. Tell me scorecards, get your scorecards, 8 cents here, 15 in the ballpark, 8 cents here, 15 in the ballpark.
Such a deal.
That was the point. It's a deal. I gave value, and
Mm-hmm.
Elijah taught me. I was with him for 3 years. What I learned from Elijah, many other things. But here's where it gets really fun, because again, I understood now value limit. I went home, I told my father, and we talking about it. He said, hey, I got an idea. When people get your scorecard, how do they keep score? I said, I guess with a pencil or a pen. Does everybody carry one? I don't know. He said, well, hello, let's get pencils. We bought a gross of pencils, long pencils, right? Cut them in half. Now you have 2 short pencils, the kind you use for miniature golf. Remember that little pencil?
Right.
You
Yeah.
throw them away, the golf course, keep score. Bought a pencil for, I think they were 4 cents because you bought them, 144 times with gross, and cut them in half. Now I'm selling for a nickel a piece. So you turn 4 cents into 10 cents. I learned about markup. I also learned about gross margin, and more importantly, about giving value. Convenience. And eventually, by the way, I was selling the pencils for 10 cents each. So somebody had a scorecard for 8 cents. They give me a dime. Nobody wanted 2 pennies then, even then, plus a pencil. So it'd be 15 cents or sometimes 20 cents. And oftentimes give me a quarter and say, hey, keep the change, kid. So I'm making now somewhere between $25 and $30 at the ballpark for an hour and a half of having fun and going in to see games. I
Oh,
saw
you got in.
hundreds of baseball games for free.
Hmm.
Now, how much fun is that? Shoveling snow, working, being outside, selling scorecards, meeting Elijah. That was my early life. I am blessed, wonderful Wendy, blessed.
And Barry, you have learned so much at an early age. And so let's go closer to where we are now. Okay. We can skip over all of the jewelry, the gemology stuff, because I want to make sure we really get into your joy of living. So one day you woke up and you were completely paralyzed.
Let's look at this. Let's
Yeah, let's look at
let's
this.
do it. Imagine it. Everybody can imagine. Imagine the following. Hale and hearty in the morning, able to leap tall buildings in a single bound. See, I can say that on our Boomer show, and everybody knows I'm talking about Superman. And that night, being in the hospital, totally, completely paralyzed, not from an automobile accident, not a spinal injury, a rare disease which I never heard of the day before, took over my body, and I was a quadriplegic from the neck down, totally paralyzed. 144 days in the hospital, quadriplegic. 2 years in a hospital bed in my own home. I couldn't turn over by myself. 4 years in a wheelchair. I had braces of both my legs, my hips to my ankles, and that was progress. Today, thank God, Wendy, I'm able to be vertical and ambulatory with the help of a 7-foot walking wand, but I still can't walk up a stair by myself. I can't walk up a curb by myself. I have help 12 hours a day, 7 days a week, but you hear my voice. Positive, purposeful, powerful, and pleasant. It's all because of one word. And that word is smile. Smile. What? Yes, because smile is an acronym. See, one of the things that we're doing here is that we're working with the 3 fundamentals of life. These 3 fundamentals are, number 1, life. Your life has purpose. And when you lead a purpose-driven life, you go MAD. Now, MAD is a wonderful acronym that stands for make a difference. You lead a purpose-driven life, you want to make a difference, especially at our age and getting older. The most important thing about getting older is that you want to continue getting older, but you want to make a difference. You want to have a legacy. And the third thing is to uncover the power and the secrets of everyday words and terms. Like I just said, smile. Smile stands for seeing miracles in life every day. Now, when I speak to groups, and just recently I was speaking to a group in person, by the way, because the masquerade is over, the COVID's gone. 5,200 plus people in the audience. By the way, most 75, 80% under the age of 35. So some of my references they don't resonate with people.
Right, they don't get it.
I'm much more hip when I speak to those people than to us. But the point is that I'm talking about seeing miracles of life every day, and people are raising their hands and saying, "Hey, Barry Shaw, I've been up for hours. I haven't seen any miracles. You're challenging me." And I asked them, "Are you here? Can you hear? Can you stand still? I can't do that. Can you walk? I can barely do that. Do you have water to drink, food to eat, a place to sleep, family, friends?" Every single one of those is a miracle. And you know what the proof is? Simple proof. 1 million people didn't get out of bed this morning. You know why? They died. You didn't. By definition, if you're watching, you're listening, you didn't. Therefore, you have an obligation to live exuberantly, to go forth and put your best effort there. Because this show is not about Barry Shore, wonderful guy that he is. It's not even about Wendy, as wonderful as she is. It's about you. YOU. So when we talk about the joy of living, which is the title of my book, is the title of my podcast, is the title of whatever we do in the world. Joy is an acronym that stands for Journey of You. It's about you. You and the three W questions. But the real issue here is understanding that these 3 fundamentals of living with purpose, going mad, making a difference, and uncovering the power and the secrets of everyday words and terms, the result is you'll be happier, healthier, and wealthier. Who doesn't want that?
Yeah, who doesn't want that?
Right.
So,
that's my journey.
But that did not happen immediately. I mean, you were in that hospital bed for 144 days. How did you get from being, you had to be somewhat depressed, Barry. You had to
be. Okay, let's uncover something. First of all, you have up on the screen, wonderful Wendy, the website and the special offer with the book. So I'm going to talk about that. So the other
Okay.
basic website is barryshore.com. So just go to
All right.
barryshore.com because it's free gift. You like those 4-letter words, free gift, which is my video class, mini class on joy, the joy of living. You'll love it. Just go there, get it, and enjoy it. And the book we're offering at a 22% discount because it's 20222, and there's no sales tax, there's no shipping and handling fee, and you're going to get a joy package. So it's more than just a good deal. Remember, it's the you before the I. So you asked an important question. I'm going to illustrate, I think, with a story because the simple answer is no. I
No,
wasn't.
you were not
No.
depressed.
However, let's be blunt. Am I human? Well, my wife might answer differently, but I'm human. So it's the ability to work with. Now, prior to being paralyzed, I was a proponent and an advocate of living exuberantly.
Mhm.
Happens to be that because of my situation, I'm even more so. It's exponential now.
Yeah.
But anybody who knew me before knows this is Barry Shore. Hello, because I had role models in life. I chose to live this way. The 6 most important words you'll ever utilize, internalize, and leverage in your life are choice, not chance, determines your destiny. Choice, not chance, determines your destiny. How you choose to respond in any given situation. So, as an example, it was about 3 weeks into my hospital stay, which obviously we had no idea how long it was going to be. 144 days over 4.5 months. About 3 weeks in, and a particular nurse that I had, a male nurse, was picking me up, moving on the gurney. They were always doing tests on me to make sure that they could keep me alive and maybe get me to some point where I could move because I wasn't moving. Remember,
Yeah.
quadriplegic, you don't move. It's,
No.
everything isn't here. And so, yes, there's that force of anger and bitterness that wants to come over you. So here's what happened. The male nurse stops the gurney in the hallway. I've been with him 3 days, 4 days. And he leans down. I could barely speak, by the way. Not only could I not move, I could barely speak.
Huh.
And he leans down and he asks me, Mr. Shore, can I ask you a personal question? I said, yes. He said, look, this is what I do. I specialize in people who have paralysis. I've yet to meet anybody who's not bitter and angry. How come you're not bitter and angry? Because I wasn't. And I realized at that moment what he was doing, Wendy, he was asking me the great existential question, which is, of course, why me, God? Why did you do this to me?
Right.
And that's what you're asking, right?
Yeah.
I wasn't asking it that way. What I was asking was and is, why me? I'm just a regular guy. I mean, I'm a nice guy, family, friends, everything. But why me? What is it that you need me to do?
Mm.
What can I do? Life has purpose. I'm going to make a difference. I'm protoplasm on a slab. Why? What can I do? What am I supposed to do now?
Mm-hmm.
At that moment, Wendy, 55 years on the planet, I'd never known such calm.
Wow.
Complete and total trust. I had no idea what was going on. You're all watching. If you're watching, you see my arms moving and things like that. I can't get up from this chair. Thank God, upper body, I can do a lot. Lower body still, most paralysis. I can't get up. It doesn't matter. Remember seeing miracles in life every day? It's the ability to understand and how you respond to any given situation. I would not have, if you gave me a list of things to choose from, I would not have chosen this. I didn't, but I have it. Now what do I do?
Well, so what I'm hearing, Barry, is instead of being mad, just angry, you chose mad, make a difference.
Make a
and
difference.
That is fantastic. What an inspiration. Thank you.
And we share it because, again, it's not about Barry Shore and saying, gee, look what he did. What about me? My life has this and that. It's about you, journey of you. And
Right.
the three W's. So we say WWW stands for What a Wonderful World. It's uncovering the secrets of the words. And again, we know Louis Armstrong, Satchmo. You hear that song, you can't help but smile, right? Because
That's
that's
my
what it's about.
father's that was my father's song. We loved it.
Oh, see, this
Yeah.
is beautiful. But it's
Yeah.
also about the three W's called Who am I? Why am I here? And now that I know that, what do I do?
What do I do?
Because that's who we are. See, we're of age, whether you're just entering and you're 55 plus, or
Mhm.
you're 73 plus, or you're
Mhm.
like my friend Aida. Can I tell an Aida
Yeah,
story?
please.
Aida, I had the great privilege of singing happy birthday to her. I have a special happy birthday song, which I've been doing for a number of years. Just a few months ago on her 109th birthday.
Happy birthday, Aida.
Yeah, 109.
Wow.
And I've known Aida, thank God, for the past 14 years. I'm just going to tell you one story, though. I'll tell you two. But one is when I called her because of COVID and such, I wasn't able to see her. On her 108th birthday, by the way, even though it was COVID, I was able to go over and ask and such. But when I call her, she says the following: Hi, Barry, sing me a song. Now, why do I
Oh.
say that like that? Because there are days where I don't even, what's my name? Sing me a song. She says, Hi, Barry, sing me a song. So I sing her a song. You are so beautiful to me. Can't you see? I go on and on. And then what happens after that is, guess what? She starts singing a song. You make me feel so young. That's what
Aw.
she's 109.
That's fantastic,
Everybody
Barry.
listening to this, she's 109. And she started working with me at the age of 95. The reason I'm going to tell you this, it's so important. Um, I swim. Now you say, what? I can barely walk, but I swim. How? And by the way, I was not a swimmer before this.
No?
Of course, I knew how to swim. I didn't enjoy it because it's a lot of work. You got to learn to breathe and this. And so I could do a lap or two in the pool to save myself, but I wasn't a swimmer. Because of my situation, I had a friend who's the best aquatic therapist in the United States of America. You hear this? How do I know? Because he told me. He said, he was my neighbor. And we lived past 45 years in Venice Beach, California. We just moved 7 months ago. I live now in Henderson, Nevada. You can look it up. It's a really interesting place. Very nice. But Vince, my aquatic therapist, said, I'll have you out of that chair and walking in a year. Great. I'll listen to anybody. It's not, it didn't happen, but didn't matter. He had me in the water doing the situations, aquatic therapy, and they had flotation devices on my legs so they don't sink, and on my arms so they don't sink, and around my belly so they don't sink and I don't drown. And his therapists were moving my arms and like trying to get something stimulated again. It took about a year or so, and one day of being in the pool, and by the way, you get in because of Hoyer lifts. Some people know what that is. It's an amazing country that we have these devices that are able to enable people who have issues to get in and out of the pool and such. And it's really quite amazing where we live.
Yeah.
So one day I'm able to move my arms over my head. And guess what?
Wow.
I was moving backwards or forward, depending how you view it. And
Yeah.
after a few strokes, I hit my head on the edge of the pool. And I loved it. That meant I was moving.
You
And
were
I didn't
seeing a
want to,
miracle.
yeah, I didn't want to stop. Remember seeing miracles in life every day? And I kept going back and forth, Wendy. Remember, it was November 18th. Now, I live in Southern California, so November 18th, outdoors in a heated pool. It's okay. And I didn't stop for 98 minutes. They wanted me to stop. I said, no, I'm not stopping. 98 minutes back and forth. I swam a mile on my back.
Wow.
I never swam a mile when I was a civilian. That's what I call people not with issues. And I swam a mile. And people were there. They were standing, applauding. I felt great.
Oh my
But here's
gosh,
what gets
Barry.
important. So if I can do it once, I can do it again, right? Duh. So
Mhm.
in my mind, I said, okay, I'm going to swim a mile at a time, at least twice a week. And then I
Okay.
went to 3 times a week. And then I went to 4 times a week. And then I went to 5 times a week. Then I went to 6 times a week. I swim a mile a day, 6 times a week. until about another year plus when I was able to learn a technique called total immersion. I was able to go on my belly and do a crawl. I still have to wear flotation devices on my legs so they don't sink because otherwise drag and I can't swim. I have paddles on my hands, if those of you are watching, because my fingers don't close. They're very arthritic looking, right? And I use a snorkel so I don't have to do the left to right because it's too hard for me to breathe
Yeah.
that way.
Yeah.
And I now swim 2 miles a day, 6 days a week. And I've been doing that for more than a dozen years. As of our show, I have over 8,435 miles, which is more than 1/3 of the way around the world. And as Wendy announced, I am swimming around the world. That's my goal.
2 miles a day.
2
I
miles
can
a
hear
day.
the Hey Boomer audience
Woo!
applauding you,
You
cheering
be
you
boomers.
on.
You can do it. You can do stuff. I happen to believe, now that I've experienced many different exercise modalities, that swimming is the best. Running, you know what that does. Come on, let's be blunt. What it
That's
does
right.
to the legs and to the knees and the joints. Bicycling, yes, but it's also it's very demanding. Swimming, you can do so many things. It's so gentle, so wonderful. And I urge everybody, just get a heated pool. There's so many classes and such. It will absolutely up your game. So up yours, everybody. Up yours. I even use the FU word. Well, we'll talk about that a little later. So, yes, I swim. We love swimming. And my goal, my vision is 2 miles a day. That gets me almost 500 miles a year. And what I'm doing now is I'm reaching out to Michael Phelps. Anybody know Michael Phelps? Yes,
Yeah,
Michael Phelps.
we do.
To be my partner. So I swim 2 miles a day. He'll swim 2 miles a day. We have 1,000 miles in the course of a year. That will help us get around the world faster, because otherwise
Sure.
I'll be 100 and something when we do it. And I'm urging people to put in their 2 cents worth, 2 cents a mile. So in the
Yep.
course of a year, you donate $20 towards what we call Stop the Stigma. Mental health issues are really a very important aspect of life. Many people, and I would say in recent surveys, by the way, 68%, Wendy, 68% of adults in the United States of America admit to being overstressed, anxious, and mildly depressed.
Mm.
And
I think that
unfortunately, a
sounds
large
right.
percentage refuse to even admit it to themselves, of course, or to anybody else, and to find a mechanism to allow it to dissipate. So stop the stigma. Between Michael and myself and maybe a few other people, going to swim around the world and raise millions of dollars to enhance the idea that seeking benefit of dispersing your mental health hangups will help you become healthier, physically, mentally, spiritually, happier, physically, mentally, spiritually, and wealthier in all aspects, physically, mentally, spiritually. Who doesn't want that? Hello, don't you want that?
Yeah,
So I'm swimming
absolutely.
around
So
the world.
it's so important, Barry. That's so important. So how do people contribute to your 2 cents a mile?
Okay, so we're about to how should we say it, to announce it to the world. I think it's April 26th or 7th, but you'll hear about it. Just contact Wendy or go to my website, barryshore.com. We'll be putting it up there because I am on the website. I'm swimming around the world. I would like to, if we may, how much time do we have more?
We have
Another
about
few
10 more
minutes?
minutes. Yep.
Okay, let's do a couple of things with your permission, even without your permission.
It's the Barry
work,
Shore and Wendy Green show.
yes, I want to talk about the word retired because that's what you mentioned. And I think I mentioned to you earlier. And I want to give 3 very practical, useful tips that people could do immediately to be able to help them up yours.
Good. Let's do it.
Okay. I just wanted a little story that my 8-year-old niece came over to me a few weeks ago, and she says, Uncle Barry, can we spell smile S-M-I-E-L? I thought about it. I said, interesting. Smile, smile. Sounds the same. Why not? I asked her how come. She says, because then it would stand for seeing miracles in everyday life.
Everyday life. I love
I
that.
love the babes. What was she doing?
Yeah.
She was creating the kind of world she wants to live in. Create is causing rethinking, enabling all to excel. So let's take a look at the word retire or retired.
Yes.
So I mentioned it to Wendy because people think retire, they see the word anywhere and they automatically presume something about, I don't know, leisure world, golfing, cruising, wearing those weird pants and a yellow shirt, and that's the women. So
White pull-up socks.
I want to use another image for you.
Yes.
This is what I use for me. I urge Wendy to use it for her. You want to retire? Absolutely, because here's what it is. Everybody knows the Daytona 500. If you don't watch it, but you know what it sounds like. If you turn the volume up, I can't do it much longer. It's those cars going around an oval track, 500 miles. They come in every so often into the pit, and all of a sudden, what happens is going, and then you have a crew that goes, take off the tires, put it on, and what did they just do? They retired this powerful machine with new Michelins.
Mm-hmm.
That's who you are.
That's
You're
right.
a powerful machine. If you've made it to this age, again, I don't care, 55, 56, 68, 78, 88, 98, 108 or more, you got new tires, kids. That's who you are. You're a powerful machine. You have experience that cannot be acquired by a 26-year-old or a 36 or 46. And it may be untoward. Some of them must be much tough. Let's be blunt. Hello, quadriplegic, been through stuff.
Yep.
Huge success in business. And I've had failures. Well, that's life, isn't it? That's what all the people say.
That's what makes you wizened, Barry.
Yes, and we love wise, and that's boomers are of benefit. I'm going to say it one more time.
That's
boomers are of benefit. You're all Bobs out there. Bob means being of benefit. So let's look at 3 things that we can do right immediately now, right after the show, and start doing these things regularly, and you're going to find it's going to be helpful. Again, everything at barryshure.com. It's on my YouTube channel. It's all free. Get the book. It's wonderful. You'll pass out these cards that say, did I tell you how much I appreciate you? And keep smiling. It's like, okay. 3 things. Ready? Number one. Breathe. Breathe. Did Barry Shure say breathe? Yeah.
He said
hey,
breathe.
Of course I'm breathing. I'm alive. That's what we call shallow breathing. That's just to maintain yourself. What we're talking now is learning how to do diaphragmatic breathing. Now, most people can't spell it. They don't know where it is. So I just call it tummy breathing.
Tummy breathing.
It's the ability to breathe in through your nose consciously. What we call conscious loving breath, the CLB. Conscious loving, breathe in through your nose, deep into your tummy. Let it out through your mouth slowly. It takes about 8 seconds, maybe 12. And you do this 4 times in a row. Conscious, loving breaths 4 times in a row. Maybe it's going to take you, what, a minute and a half, 2 minutes? And you will find, if you do this twice per day, once before noon, once afternoon, I do it first thing in the morning, either before I go to sleep or just before I go to sleep or in the evening, you'll be calm and aware. That's really important. And you do this 11 days in a row. By the 12th day of the practice, you'll be consciously calm and aware. And you'll experience greater intimacy than you've known in years. Learn to breathe deeply. That's number 1. Number 2, this is a good number 2. You're going to use the 2 most powerful words in the English language 3 times a day, consciously and conscientiously, from this time forward for the rest of your life. That's right, the rest of your life. And you do this with these 2 most powerful words in the English language, you'll benefit you, your family, your friends, and all living beings. And that's a pretty good gig, isn't it? And these 2 words are, drum roll, fanfare, da-da, da-da. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thanks stands for to harmonize and network kindness. To harmonize and network kindness. The Dalai Lama has been quoted as saying, I read in his writings, be kind whenever possible. And it's always possible. Imagine going to your coffee shop, order your fancy latte, and you sit down, somebody brings it to you, say thank you. Go in the coffee shop, you order a fancy latte. A few minutes go, I know he brings it. You go to the counter, they say, oh, sorry, forgot, we're so busy. Bring it to you. Sit down, a couple of minutes, somebody brings you, still say thank you. You're walking out of the coffee shop, it's raining out. Somebody holds the door open for you, say thank you. You're walking out of the coffee shop, it's raining out. Somebody slams the door on you. You say thank you. You're in traffic, you're late for an appointment, somebody cuts you off. You say thank you. Get up in the middle of the night, you stub your toe and it hurts. You say, yes, these two words. Thank you. To harmonize and network kindness. And the third is learn to love dog poop.
I saw this on your website.
It's very short. Say dog poop. Yes, learn to love dog poop. Okay, what is he talking about? This guy is out to lunch. I love it, but what are you talking about? Dog poop is one of the most important acronyms you'll utilize, internalize, and leverage in your life. Because dog poop stands for doing of good. Okay. Power of one person. When you begin to recognize that your thoughts, your words, your deeds make a difference, you won't have negative thoughts. You'll learn to push them aside. Work with me. I have videos about this. I have a course. Yes, the course is only $97. We have a course of $497. Okay, I'm not selling you on it. This is for you. Learn to love dog poop. Doing of good. Power of one person. We are wizened.
We are wizened, Barry.
When you take your dog out for a walk or dogs and you clean up, smile and tell everybody, hey, I love dog poop. Or you walk by somebody cleans and say, yeah, I love dog poop. I say, what are you talking? Where'd you get it? Say, well, I heard this crazy guy or nutty guy. Nut means, by the way, never underestimate thanking. Never underestimate thanking or never underestimate thinking. That's a nut. I heard this guy in Wendy, he says, talk about, I want to love dog poop. And you'll explain to other people because it's an icebreaker, right? It nails you to have a conversation and talk about how one person reaching out to another, and joining in community. There's nothing more powerful than community. Community, by the way, is like we said, business. The you comes before the I. Mm-hmm. One of the things I'm working on right now, we're actually launching at the same time at the end of April, is the joy of living community. It's all of $10 a month. I did it purposely to make low barrier to join in the joy of living community. And there's so many benefits to it. In addition to me, webinars and my course and all that, it's there because my mission is to touch millions of people around the planet. Because this is for everybody. It's not just the United States or Canada or English-speaking nations. This is for Ukrainians. This is for Russians. This is for people from India, China, Pakistan. We have people all over the world that listen to my podcast and what we do. Again, these three things you can do immediately. You don't need fancy gadgets. You don't need an app.
Right. And we want people to join the Hey Boomer community too. I was going to ask you for 3 things, but you already gave us that. So I'm going to tell people also about the Hey Boomer community, which is a Facebook community where we get to talk to each other and support each other as we're going through these small miracles in life. And it's called Hey Boomer, What's Next? So if people would like to join that community, they can email me at wendy@heyboomer.biz and become part of that. Barry, I mean, we could go on and on and on because you have so much wisdom and so much energy to share with us. And thank you for making me smile. Before we came on, I told Barry, I might get a little headache and sinuses and whatever. And he goes, you know, what's the most important thing is humor. You've got to laugh and smile. So thank you for that. I just want to talk about what's coming up. So I'm doing something a little bit different in the next 2 months. I'm having a theme for the months. Instead of finding just these fantastic people like Barry, I'm having a theme. So April, being tax month, is going to be a theme of money. And we're going to talk about, let's see, we're going to talk about money with partners and family. How do you talk about that? We're going to talk about how do we change our plans from investing to withdrawing now that we're in this new stage, and it's very weird to make that change. We're going to talk about how where we live impacts our finances, our sense of place, our sense of purpose, our inner joy, all the things that Barry was talking about today. And then finally, we're going to talk about the problem of elder financial abuse, which is very unfortunately a serious problem. Yeah. So my first guest in this series is going to be Richard Eisenberg. And Richard has been the executive editor of Money Magazine, and he recently retired as the managing editor of Next Avenue, which is the PBS website for people over 50. He's now freelance writing articles. He says he is unretired. And he's going to talk to us about those money conversations, the ones we're having, the ones we're not having, and the ones we need to be having. So I think that's going to be an interesting conversation. Also, if you like what we're doing, please support Hey Boomer by buying me a cup of coffee. It's an online funding platform where you can go to buymeacoffee.com/heyboomer0413. You can become a 1 month member. You can become a member for the year. So please take a look at that and support what Hey Boomer is doing. And I like to remind you all to live with passion, live with relevance, live with courage, and remember that you are never too old to set another goal or dream a new dream. Barry, thank you so much for all
May
that
we
you
leave
shared with us.
everybody with a hug and a blessing?
Absolutely, please do.
Okay, so hug. I'm going to hug Wendy, but I'm going to hug everybody. Hug stands for heartfelt, unlimited giving. Heartfelt, unlimited giving. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Whoa!
Big hug.
And our blessing from Barry and Wendy is go forth, live exuberantly, spread the seeds of joy, happiness, peace, and love. Go mad. Go make a difference.
Go mad. Thank you, Barry. My name is Wendy Green. This has been Hey Boomer.